And of course, to do that, we come into point number 6 on our list of top 10 things managers need to know. You have got to listen actively to your people and always, always, always default to trust. Don't come into it with the notion that they're just lying to you or they're exaggerating or they're just telling you what they think you want to hear or any of those things. Trust your people when they say things. Trust that it's coming from a good place and listen actively to the points they're trying to make to you. Okay, you have got to have one-on-one communication with every single person that reports directly to you on a very regular basis. I like once a week, but at most once every 2 weeks, a 30 to 60 minute meeting to talk about what's going on. And the reason that you do this is not just to go through your lists with each other. The reason you do this is because this is what builds that working relationship that is so important to their success. They've got to trust you as much as you need to trust them, right? So have those meetings, make sure they are locked down on your calendar. Do not cancel them. One of the quickest things to go when calendars get busy are the one-on-one meetings. But they should be the last thing to go. They should be the thing that unless you have fallen down a flight of stairs and have a bone sticking out of your leg, you should not be canceling those meetings. They're so critical to everyone's success. Because when you have these meetings regularly and you're listening actively and you're defaulting to trust and you're building this trusting relationship with them, that's when they're going to start communicating their needs to you. No one likes to deliver bad news, but people especially don't like to deliver bad news when they feel like they're going to get dinged for it or their manager doesn't listen to them or their manager doesn't care. You're not going to get the information you need because you need them to deliver bad news sometimes. They should be relying on you as their boss to help them get obstacles out of their way. That is part of your point. That is part of your reason for being as a boss, is to get those obstacles out of their way. Okay? One thing that comes up commonly is people get overwhelmed, especially your high performers. They're going to take on too much. They're going to have these grand ideas and they're going to come to you and say, I don't know how I can do this. Right? You want that. You want them to feel comfortable coming to you because then you can help them prioritize. You can help them work through it. But if they're not coming to you because they don't trust you, that is just going to create problems for absolutely every single person involved, right? Now, part of how you do this is you always have to assume positive intent when they come to you with the bad news. Listen, guys, we are surrounded by negative information every single day. It can be so easy to assume the worst. And even more than that, I mentioned earlier in the presentation that we tend to default to not trusting people, to distrust. Why do we do that? Because we have been let down by so many people in our lives. Let's just think about this from a very human perspective at the moment. We form our view of the world by the time we're 7 years old. So if your parents ever let you down, even if they were wonderful parents and they overall provided you a great experience, but if they ever let you down in your early childhood, some part of you has internalized that. Okay, if you've ever been let down by a friend, if you've ever been let down by a partner or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or when you were growing up, because who among us has not had our heart broken at some point? All of these experiences combined leads us by the time we are adults, and especially when we're in our 30s, 40s, 50s, we're getting super cynical when we get older, right? Because the longer we live, the more opportunities people have to let us down. But just because people have let you down in your past does not mean the person sitting right in front of you that's working for you right now is going to let you down. You have got to get yourself to turn that switch off in your brain, and yes, it is possible. As soon as you recognize it, it's possible, right? But you've got to get yourself to turn that switch off in your brain and to say, this person sitting in front of me, they have positive intent. They're trying to do the best they can. Fundamentally, people come to work and they want to do a good job and they want to be successful. Most of the time, they're not trying to get one over on you. Okay, they're looking for your help and support. And if you as their boss approaches them from a vein of distrust, you're not going to make a good faith effort to help them. And then you both might as well just hang up your hats, just like go to the bar and start drinking, because really, if you're distrusting them, they're distrusting you. No one's going to be successful in that situation. That's where you hit the zone of mediocrity. You hit it as a boss, your employee is going to hit it in their performance. That's not motivating. That's not engaging. Okay? Remember, I said it at the top, but how you make your team members feel matters. If one of them comes to you in a one-on-one and says that they're overwhelmed and they need tasks to move off their plate, and you respond by saying, just figure it out, how do you think that's going to make them feel? They're probably just going to continue to be frustrated and overwhelmed and not any more productive than when they walked into your office for that meeting. And they're probably going to like you a little bit less than they did prior to that meeting. They're going to trust you a little bit less. On the other hand, if you help them to think through their prioritization and maybe move a thing or two off their plate, that's going to have a completely different effect.